Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode. In this episode I'm going to be covering the cold plunge. I'm going to be breaking this down into a couple of parts. So the first thing I'm going to be doing is reviewing the whiskey barrel that I bought from a company called Celtic Timber. So I'll be going into details about that. I'm also going to be going into the reasons why to do a cold plunge, why I do it. I'm also going to be showing you how I look after and maintain my cold plunge. And then hopefully there'll be a few bits and pieces throughout the video that you can pick up. So now I'm going to be cutting to myself in the garden when it was lovely and sunny, and I'm going to be going through my process of cleaning and maintaining the whiskey barrel. So hopefully you'll find that useful. Stick around. Hi everyone, so this is the cold plunge that I have. It's actually from a company called Celtic Timber. It's also something I kind of found organically when I was doing my own research that kind of lined up. So this is actually an old whiskey barrel. It contains 120 gallons of water, and they've actually built a seat in it about there, which I'll go into later on so you can fully sit, but it's also great for submersion as well. So this cost about maybe 300 quid. It is quite a lot of money when you think about it in the grand scheme of things, but I do think it's a worthwhile investment. It's something I've incorporated into my daily routine, especially my morning routine, which is something I've done a video about previously. So yeah, it's I think from order to actually getting it probably took about a week. Arrived on a pallet. Yeah, power washed it. That actually removed quite a lot of the dirt, and it's already had a bit of a paint job as well. So what I'm currently doing at the moment is I'm actually draining it. It just drains straight off into the outlet there, which is good. So I'm actually going to be cleaning it from the outside. I'm just trying to restore a little bit. I've got some paint ready. So yeah, that's the first step. So one of the main reasons I got a whiskey barrel in the first place was more of a challenge, to be honest with you. So I used to be quite active physically, to Thai boxing, and as I got older I've obviously moved away from that because yeah, it's obviously a young man's game. But what I was missing is kind of that mental kind of challenge, I guess. So I do a bit of piano and that type of stuff, but I actually need like a physical kind of mental challenge, something that the cold is always something I think we instinctively kind of hide away from. So I thought, why not do that? And again, it's one of those things that I think sometimes when you think about cold water submersion, everyone says to try and shy away from it, but actually when you eventually get around to doing it, you realise it's not that bad. And just for context, this isn't something I've just nose dived straight into. Obviously not literally, it's not that big enough. But I actually started with cold showers probably about a year ago now, to be honest. And it literally started with having a normal shower, but then just at the end of it, maybe turning on cold water until it gets somewhat uncomfortable for about 15 seconds. So I do 15-second cold showers, and then the next week I'll do 30 seconds, and I built it up until I got to about 3 minutes worth of cold showers. And that's quite a good mental challenge because again, it's kind of more hitting the back of your neck and your head, and again, as per like a previous video, it's actually controlling that shock reflex, which is quite powerful. So then I thought, I've got that nailed down. The next thing to do is actually get into a cold plunge itself. So I got this in summer with obviously the plan of doing it every day, which is something I do, with the aspect of obviously building up towards winter, and that's the goal. We've had some chilly mornings so far, which is good, but it's not something that puts you off. So I find it's a good daily challenge. It's something I've talked about previously in regards to trying to overcome a task that you really don't want to do, especially first thing in the morning. But from a health point of view, and again, just quoting a few people online, like Wim Hof, he's the main driver, Andrew Huberman and Gary Brecker, the amount of dopamine you actually get from a cold plunge afterwards, actually an elevated dopamine level for about 200% for about 4 hours afterwards. So again, first thing in the morning, if you're getting that dopamine spike first thing in the morning, it's going to massively help you the rest of your day. So today I'm actually going to be doing a bit of a clean. The sun's out, it's the last proper weekend of summer really, so I'm actually draining it as we speak. I'm going to be cleaning it from the inside out, and then actually putting some paint on it as well, just to give it more of a protection just for winter as well. So yeah, I'm going to be breaking it down, and if you're interested, I'll put all the details in the comments below. Cheers. So now I've drained the barrel as much as I can using a piece of pipe that goes straight into the outlet, but there's still about 4 to 5 inches worth of water, which is basically all the grime, dirt, leaves, anything that we've traipsed in. So I'm now going to roll that over to the garden and then basically get rid of that water onto the lawn. You could do it onto your patio, but I don't think it's worth the risk in regards to chlorine and that type of thing. So once I've got it flat, obviously not impacting the tap, I'm just going to pour that on there. Now the good news is, so far I've not had any burn marks on my lawn, so that's positive. The next stage now is to get it a good clean. And basically what you'll see is there's a couple of before and after pictures that I'm going to put up after this. But you'll see where the grind line is, and that's basically the chlorine that's sticking onto it. So I'm not a big fan of chlorine. I am looking into ozone treatment, which is something I would recommend looking at. But basically the purpose of this is basically to give it a good bit of a wash. It's on a jet setting on the hose, and basically give it a good swill out. Once I'm happy that I've got a good clean, basically at the bottom, I'm then going to tip the excess out onto the lawn again, just like that. So after that, I've stood it upright. I'm going to give it a bit of a wipe down with a brush just to make sure that there's no excess grass, because obviously we're on the lawn, so I'd highly recommend that before we start painting. So I've just rolled over the barrel. I've just given it a bit of a clean inside. I cleaned out last week, to be honest with you, but again today's more about actually doing the paint job. So I'm actually going to be using Good Home Outdoor Wood Stain Protecting Colour. It's good for like water and UV resistance, and it's a quick dry as well. It's a clear satin. So I'm going to be slapping this on. This is the paint I got from B&Q. So yeah, I've got it in the sun. Let it dry out a little bit and crack on with the painting. So the next bit is the fun part. So now actually we are painting it from the top down. The reason I do that is any excess paint is basically going to run down, so I'm not wasting anything. So just to put it into perspective, I bought a tin and I've used it twice, and I've probably used about half, but you can see there my beautiful painting skills, it's just splattered on. This is the second time, but where you can see above the tap there's actually like a cork hole where they would get the original one. So on the inside of that I've actually put some beeswax, so I'd highly recommend doing that, but I've actually put loads of paint on there to try and keep the water in as much as possible. So I'm basically going down every ribbon, and you can kind of see it setting already and the gloss coming out as well. So that's why I use this one, it gets it nice and shiny. So from there it's a quick dry, and then in about an hour or so this is what you're going to get. You're going to get a lovely clean barrel. Again, I've already power washed this down the original time, hence why I'll put the before and after pictures on in a short while, but you can see that it's already set, and the deeper bits where you can see the actual white patches, that's come off nicely, and in there you can see the grime level that I was talking about before. That's why we need to give it a good power wash down. So there, the next day, this is the next day now, I've actually filled it up, and that's the level I'm going to get into, because when I actually get in it's going to overflow out. So that's always recommended. Now when it comes to actually getting into the water, this is the biggest tip that you can get. Exhale on the way in, and then exhale when you sit down. That massively makes a massive difference. Don't worry about the water that's about to pour out and flood over to your porch, but that's the way it is. So this is a few before and after shots. So this is how it arrived on the pallet. You get a free pallet, and you can see by the state of the wood, first of all it's quite dirty, but also the wood's actually not in a great state itself. So this is what it looks like before I've even done any work, and this is why you should power wash it down, because look at the colour that's come out of that now. And yes, I have power washed the flags as well, but that's a side topic. So one of the main reasons I do the cold plunge every day now, it actually gives me very, very clear and brought in focus. And what I mean by that is sometimes, so when you wake up in the morning you can be, quite distracted, and you're thinking about childcare, you're thinking about work, you're thinking about trying to get a workout in. You could be worried about money, you could be worried about anything that's going on in the world right now. There's quite a lot going on. And what this does is you haven't got an option but to focus actually in being in the moment, and that's something that I think I mentioned before, but I struggle to be present. I'm always thinking ahead. So when you get in that water, the only thing you can do is breathe. And once you actually get in, for the first minute it is obviously cold, but after that your body acclimatizes to it, and then it's that confidence. And this is something I mentioned before about once you know how your body's going to react, you get more confidence in it. After a minute, my body's acclimatized now, and I feel good, and I can just enjoy it. So I'm actually looking, so the seat is actually, I'm sat down in the same direction I would actually be sitting in the barrel, and I have the sun just coming up in front of me. So in the morning that can be quite nice, just you've got 3 or 4 minutes to yourself, listening to the fountain, listening to the wind in the trees, and you're just kind of, you know, grounded and centered. Like I've said before in another video, this isn't something you have to go straight into. I would highly recommend building it up. So as I've said before, 15 minutes cold showers, go up to 30, work your way up to 3 minutes. Once you're comfortable with that, you can get into ice baths and cold plunges proper. Like I said, this was an investment. It's something that I was going to probably do eventually, but for me personally, I needed that mental challenge. It's something that I can do on a daily basis, and I feel the benefits of it. Hence why I'm making this video. I think having a cold shower is one of the most cheapest, underutilized ways of actually improving your mood and going about your day in a productive manner, challenging yourself mentally, putting yourself under stress, and how you actually cope with that. I think it's one of the cheapest and most efficient ways to do it. So again, you don't have to do a cold plunge, but one thing I would definitely recommend to everyone is trying to get into the habit of having daily cold showers, just for as long as it's comfortable for you. So that's the video on the cold plunge. So we've reviewed Celtic Timber, which I'd highly recommend. I've shown you how to look after your cold plunge, your whiskey barrel. So again, I think I would recommend a power wash and get that paint on. Try and get a couple of layers on before winter. And then I've also gone through the reasons why I do it and basically the challenge behind it as well, the mental focus that it gives you and the productivity boost that it gives you throughout the day. So if you like that, it would be great if you could like and subscribe, helps boost the channel. So again, this is a video for everyone that's interested in this topic, so feel free to share it with any people as well. There's a lot more to come from the channel. This is one of many that I'm going to be breaking down in regards to, again, this factors into the video that I did about the morning routine, which will be up there tagged along, so feel free to have a look at that and again see how this kind of plays into the morning routine to help give you the most productive day. But yeah, thank you very much for your time, and I'll see you on the next one. Again.